Hi, everybody, and welcome to TNM Coaching Unplugged and Zoran and Interconnected podcast. I'm so grateful and happy to be with you once again. Thank you so much for liking our podcast. Thank you so much for sharing our podcast with your friends and family and colleagues. We're growing and growing and growing, and I'm always overwhelmed by the beauty of our community. And today we have something beautiful and special for our coaching community. We love the coaches in our community. We are dedicated to serving them to become the best possible coaches they can be. And today we're going to talk about what will it take somebody to build successful coaching business. How can we approach this struggle that a lot of coaches have? They train to be good coaches. They do all the education, they do coaching practice, they do coaching supervision, they become super professional, their skills. And then the struggle begins. How do I create a successful coaching business? And sometimes really that affects me because a lot of the time I feel like, oh my God, if I can just help coaches, all of the coaches in the world to do this really well, I will be very happy. And then our guest today is Janice Lichtenwaldt. It's extraordinary executive coach, strategic thinker, and she is the one who spends some time looking into this pain point. She looked into how can she build up the supporting structure for the coaches to be able to help coaches create strong, sustainable business while being aligned to their values, purpose, and mission, which is for me win-win situation. And through her coaching Business Builder 101, she has managed to do exactly that. She's an extraordinary coach. She's a PCC, but also MBA. She has decades in business and leadership experience, and she has unique ability to simplify complexity. And this is what I love about Janice. When we spoke first time, sometimes these building business tools and how do we need to be successful and what do we need to do as coaches, they become so complicated and difficult to fathom and actually to practically apply. So she has this way of simplification, clarity of the system, clarity of the mindset, and all of this is grounded in professionalism and long-term success for coaches. So get ready for this beautiful conversation. It will probably bring you clarity, honesty, practical wisdom, and hopefully a lot of success in your coaching practice. Janice, welcome to the call today.
Oh, thank you very much. I'm very happy to be here.
Yeah, wonderful. And yeah, as you know, a lot of coaches are struggling with this, struggling. This is a big pain point for all of us, including me. I remember at the beginning of my coaching practice, I was like, oh my God, how am I going to do this? So what inspired you to get into this field? What was something that really moved your passion to start thinking about offering this wonderful program and support to coaches around the world?
Well, the origin story is a little bit funny in that it was a little bit out of irritation that I did it because I had several new coaches that came to me for supervision, and then it turned into questions about business. And after the fifth coach was asking me the same questions over and over again, I was like, I need to write this down because I keep saying the same thing over and over again. And what I realized in talking with these coaches is that I was bringing a unique perspective. My MBA is in sustainable business, and it was a social entrepreneurship school. So it was how do we do good in the world through business? And so entrepreneurship was just a part of my DNA, and I didn't realize what a gift that was. And I wanted to give that to others because the other side of this is that there are too many amazing coaches out there who aren't practicing because they can't have a sustainable business and they can't make a living doing it. And I just that frustrates me that it's such a waste to have, and the world needs help. Coaches, we need coaches. So it was part, I wanted to stop repeating myself. And the other part was I don't want talent wasted.
Yeah, beautiful. I mean, beautiful purpose, and I'm like you, I always think whenever in TNM Coaching Academy, we have graduates and people who, are brilliant professionals, and then they have struggles getting out there, being visible, offering their services. knowing how to do this. They just want to coach, but they don't know how to position themselves. It always kind of gets, oh my God, let's do it. So that's your journey, and bringing your background in the sustainable business from your perspective. What did you see in the market of coaching when coaches are able to build up sustainable, successful business? What are the foundational elements that they need to put in place to be able to walk that path of creating sustainable, successful business?
What successful coaches, as you say, coaches just want to coach. So the idea is, how do they set up systems around them that allow them, for the most part, to just coach? So the foundational elements are that you have a system. You have a system that people can book sessions with you on. I mean, some of it. I mean, it sounds so basic, but that clients can book their own time. They can go in and find time with you, and you don't have to be a part of that process. Because part of it is, if if a client has to contact you in order to make an appointment with you, that is a point of friction. So how do you remove those points of friction? You want to make it easy for them to say yes. The other part of it is setting up a good financial system. So making sure that you have automated billing, that you have a bank account, that you have a way to track your money so that when you have to do your taxes at the end of the year, it's not a huge effort, but just more of a click of a button. So you're putting these administrative rails around your business so that you can just operate. So yeah, it takes a little bit of work to get that set up, but once it's going, it requires very little to keep it going. And then you get to just coach.
That's beautiful. So the basic systems, they need to be in place. And what you're saying, surprisingly, sometimes we take for granted that those systems will be in place, but a lot of the people don't even go to that extent, right?
They don't. So people will say, well, I'll just, for instance, well, I'll just invoice people, or I'll send them a Venmo or a PayPal request. But there's so much more involved in that. And that's one of the things when we go through the Coaching Business Builder course, people are like, oh, I hadn't thought about that piece. Oh, I didn't know that that was something I had to do. And so there are small things. Like, also, one of the basic core things is you need a business license. In anywhere in the world where you're coaching, you do need a business license. And you need a business license often in order to open a business account. And so there's an order in which things need to happen. None of this is complex. We're not building rocket ships, but there's a lot of little bits of work that need to go along. And we try in the Coaching Business Builder to set it up in a way that makes it very, very simple. And it's one step after the other. So it doesn't seem like it's super overwhelming.
Exactly. And I love that. I love when people can go through the steps. And sometimes people who transition to coaching, even from a big businesses, I have a lot of clients that were part of corporate. And sometimes in corporate setting, everything is taken care of, right? So you don't need to think about it. You just show up and you do your work, and structure, infrastructure, systems and processes. It's well-oiled machine. You press the button, everything goes. So you never created this infrastructure. And then people, when they go into their own business, where do I start?
Exactly.
What do I do first?
and that is for the corporate people especially. They don't understand, and it's not that they can't. Of course they can do it, but they've never been exposed to it. They don't know all of the back office, procurement, HR, the finance team, the IT team. That's, for many coaches, one of the biggest, the scariest areas is the tech part, and that we take care of that. It's not something to be scared of. It's all very doable, but again, broken down in bite-sized chunks.
Exactly. So step by step, bit by bit, and through the alignment. So where do you, I mean, we're going to get into the business builder, in the later part of our podcast. I really want, for you to really talk about it, what is entail, what is inside of the module, so people can understand how they can really sign up for this program with you and really go through these bite sizes and build a successful business. But when you interview coaches from your network and from your client base, where is the biggest pain point? You mentioned tech. Is that tech biggest pain point? What really gets coaches to struggle when it comes to the business building?
Well, the biggest pain point that coaches first surface is, how do I get clients? That's what they think their biggest pain point is in the beginning. How am I ever going to find enough clients? And actually, our coaching business, the coaching business builder program doesn't actually address the client part of it, getting clients, because there's so much more work that needs to be done before you can even think about how you're going to get clients.
Right.
And I think really, truly, the biggest pain points are discovered as the coaches start actually getting into their business. And it's, how do I operationalize this work in a way that doesn't become all consuming? It's managing calendars can be a struggle, especially if you have if you are working for multiple organizations. That can be a struggle. As I'm thinking through this question, there isn't just one pain point. It really kind of depends on the individual of what is going to be the challenge for them. For some, it's the financial piece. Asking for money. That is one of the biggest challenges, is actually asking people to pay them, because it's a helping profession. So a lot of times people feel a certain way about, really, I'm going to ask people to give me money to talk to them, which is, my uncle said to me, he goes, people pay you to talk to you? And I'm like, yeah, actually they do. But and then asking for what you're worth, and being clear. And so that's one of the things that we do in the program, is how to get comfortable with asking for money and asking for a rate that is in alignment with who the person is, their experience, their training, and that they can feel okay about saying. And then I usually say, and then talk to your best friend after you decide your rate and tell them, and then they're going to tell you you've picked something too low and that you need to think higher of yourself. So setting rates, I think, is a really hard one.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Janice, I talked to a lot of coaches who feel really insecure about that. It's a point of insecurity. They always undercharge in a way that they feel it's, how can I? So I think that's a very important point. And also that directs the energy as well. How do you set out your business? Because your rates are, your margins, your profitability.
Yes. And depending on, I mean, you also have to, in rate setting, we're getting very specific, but in rate setting, you have to think about your audience too. I had one client who his dream was to coach creative people, creatives. Creative people often don't have a lot of extra money. And he knew that. He was making an intentional choice. And so his rates could not be the same rates that you might charge a CEO. On the other hand, if you're working with C-suite executives and you're charging a really low rate, they aren't going to see value in that, because they have a mental model of what quality is and what value is, and your rates need to reflect that if that's your audience. So it is, it's a more holistic discussion than just, what am I going to charge? Why are you charging? What kind of clients do you want to attract and work with? Who do you resonate with? Who resonates with you? So That is another struggle that comes up with coaches is niche.
Mhm.
Niche. And I have a slightly different perspective than the coach training school that I went to and what they taught. And I believe in niche. I think niche is important,
Mhm.
but I don't believe that you can truly understand your niche until you've coached for a while. Because
Mm.
you may think you want to coach a certain audience, but then once you start engaging with them, does your heart, does your energy resonate with that person? And does their energy, their heart, their soul resonate with you? So you have to coach a lot of people to find that. And then when you find that resonance and
Mhm.
that certain, that's where the magic really happens. But you got to do the work for a little while. So I encourage people to coach anyone and everyone they can for a while and then observe, okay, who am I really clicking with? Who's
Mhm.
clicking with me? And then you start to hone down it and get a niche and start talking about yourself in that way. That
Mhm.
is my opinion.
Mm. I share your opinion really. I think that you need to know yourself more as a coach. What is your unique coaching style? Where are you authentic? What is in alignment with your purpose, with your values as well? As you mentioned, one of your clients who loves creatives and wants to coach creatives, that you find your niche within the environment. And I think if the coaches go too quickly, too soon into niching, then they lose themselves because it becomes something that is inauthentic. And I think that also strong business development comes from you knowing who you are and what you stand for and what you love coaching, right? So
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
100%.
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's beautiful. I mean, I remember being coached around at the beginning of my coaching practice, Janice, and one of my coach, he had this strong start was name of his class, and strong start was that we really needed to get into the niche immediately. And I was a young coach. I didn't know. I was like, I don't know who I want to. I want to coach everybody. This is what I said. I want to coach everybody. And he was like, no, you need to niche. I said, I want to coach everybody. Until later on, I've discovered at that time in my practice, the entrepreneurs were people that I really enjoyed coaching the most. And I was really good in coaching entrepreneurs, and I understood their complexities and mindset and so on and so forth. So from there on, I went in different niche later, but I agree with you that niching is very, very, very important, but later on in your practice, right?
Yeah, you've got to find what do they say? Just because something's easy doesn't mean it's no. I mean, find the easy thing. Our
Mhm.
our lives are challenging and difficult. Why not work with people that you are drawn to that bring out the best in you because you're going to bring out the best in them.
Exactly. Exactly. So what you're saying is that operationally, that the first foundation of success is people really understanding the systems and processes and creating the effortless systems and processes, no matter how, what is the language I'm using, boring and mundane this looks like. Because sometimes when we start talking about it, people say, hold on a second, let me do this later, right? Like, let me first do this and I'll do that later. And what you're recommending is to start from the foundational space, right?
Yes, yes. I like to call it the bread and butter, meaning
Okay.
it's not sexy, although sometimes I find it sexy. I love a spreadsheet. But it's not sexy, but it's the foundation. It's um one of the things that we talk about in the course, and we just completed one, so that's why it's very fresh in my mind. Um, is um when you are getting started, you don't need to have a huge infrastructure. And if you only have 2 or 3 clients right now, don't invest in huge infrastructure. That's you can build your foundational elements with tools that you already have access to. Some Google Docs, some things there that you can create that foundation. And then as you grow, you scale and you put in um, maybe a little more robust systems. But there are coaching platforms out there that will handle all of your invoicing, the scheduling, keeping track of your clients, the notes, all of that. Do you need that when you're first starting out? No. And then when you're starting to scale, Like if you have five clients, you can keep track of them in your head probably. But once you start to get to 10 clients or 15 clients or 20 clients, you can't. And so what I recommend is as people are ramping up, that they start putting in these more serious foundational elements, like maybe going to a coaching platform before they really need it. Because at 5 or 6 clients, you still have some space to create these foundations. At 20 clients, you don't have time to do anything. So be prepared in advance. So prepare the ground before you get there, but know when that pivot point is. For 2 or 3 clients, you don't need to invest a lot. Once you start ramping and you're really growing your business, invest in those systems. Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. Like wonderful advices for the coaches. And do you also believe that the mindset of the coach when it comes to success is important? And how do you link that mindset to the business building? Anything they would like to share on that?
Yeah, we actually have a whole unit on mindset. And it's if just like we work with our clients, if you go in with an attitude that this is a necessary evil that you have to do,
Mhm.
you're never ever, it's never going to be fun or easy. It's always going to seem like a chore. So we go through different, we help people navigate through what is it that is getting in your way
Mm.
of looking at yourself as a business person, as an entrepreneur, because we are, as coaches, we are entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
We are business people.
Yeah.
And getting that shift, because ultimately for all of this, is that my hope and dream is that I can help coaches see themselves as professionals.
Mhm.
And the more that we treat ourselves as professionals, the more our clients energetically are going to treat us as professionals. And so if we don't treat ourselves as professionals, why would anyone else?
Mhm.
So putting these systems in place professionalizes our work. And there's something empowering about having your financial systems in order, having a great calendaring system. That is my person. I try to make it fun and interesting. But it is, if you go into it as I have to do this, it's never going to be fun. What if you went in with an attitude of, I'm professionalizing myself. I am showing the world that I am a professional and I am worth working with. That then helps. It just helps how we show up in the world energetically.
Exactly. Exactly. So the energetics of this is very important as well. And some of the people who are listening to this podcast know that we believe in that what is this vibration, the frequency that we send into the world? How do we show up in our professional expression of ourselves, and how people receive us? Because sometimes when people receive the good service, they really feel, like I would like to engage. And then of course they will refer us to the people that are coming as well. So it's beautiful, that mindset of professionalism and simplicity and systems and processes in place.
Yeah. I also bring a mindset in that there are over 8 billion people in the world. There is plenty of opportunity out there for all of us to find work. There's plenty of opportunity. And not everyone is the right person for us. And so I believe going out and, if someone says no to me because I'm not the right coach for them, I do in my own practice, if I get a new client who comes in and has never done coaching before, I insist that they go interview 2 or 3 more coaches before they make a selection, because it's more important to me that they find a good fit than me getting them. And for newer coaches, newer coaches, and they're like, why would I send a potential client away? It's because if they're meant to be with you, they'll stay with you. And I believe that energetically puts good energy in the world, and that the right people will come to you.
Exactly. Exactly. I do the same. And I've done it when I was really young coach. Honestly, that was one of the coaching that I received from one of my mentor is to make sure that the client is the right choice for you and the right choice for your client. And sometimes when you feel that this client is not right for you, even decline them, you refer them, you say, I'm not the right coach for you, go forward. And I think that, again, impacts the way we do business and attracts new clients that are supposed to be working with you. And I love this mindset, Janice, of abundance versus scarcity mentality. There is not enough.
Yeah.
Because sometimes we get into that, there is not enough, there is not enough. I can hear from the coaching, it's very competitive out there. There's so many coaches nowadays. Coaching profession is blooming. And I kept on saying the coaching profession is accelerating. There is more than $8.5 billion in return in the coaching industry, just growing exponentially. So this is one of these industries that is actually in growth, in expansion. So the opportunities are endless. But with that endless opportunities, how do we navigate that? And how do we find the clients? And how do we create success? So in your program, I mean, if you can look into this a little bit more in detail, if you're okay with that. So what are the modules and sequences? What will people learn if they sign up?
So the modules, it's 8 modules. Is that right? Hold on, I need to open it up. Oh my gosh.
It's open it up, it's very nice. I ask you that question as well because I'm super curious, and I know that sometimes the audience, especially the coaches who are listening to this one, they will be asking questions, but what is it? And I would really love us to comment a little bit on that and for you to explain so they can hear it from you instead of listening or from the podcast or learning from your landing page. So anything that you would love to comment. So how does it look?
Okay. So it's 10 modules. I have a side note that I want to say. So there's an assessment out there called the Hogan assessment.
Yes.
Some have done. And in the morals and values inventory section, one of them is commerce. And I have very low commerce, which means that money isn't that big of it. I mean, I like money. I like spending money. It's great, but it's not a driver. So why I have systems in place for invoices, because I will forget to send invoices. And I'm not a very good salesperson either. So it's like, oh, how many modules do I have? I don't know, 8, 10. I don't know. So forgive
Thank you
me.
so much for the clarity. It's so nice to see your personality shine.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just not a good salesperson. I just want to do the work. I just want to coach. No. So 10 modules. Of course, there's a context setting that we do, context setting. And then one of the first modules, and I bring a lot of humor to all of my work. I weave in existentialism and stoicism into my work as well. And one of the elements of existentialism is that life is absurd, and life is absurd. So I like to bring a cheekiness to things, especially when they might be challenging or difficult. So the whole idea of this is getting your professional ducks in a row. So every module has rubber ducks in it. And so we talk about what does it mean to get your ducks in a row. And we look at the strategy for success for the course. Then we talk about where most coaches get stuck. And we really put it into view. And this is where we talk about mindsets and help people understand where am I getting in my own way. And it's interesting. I thought that I didn't think of this module as being a super impactful module. And the feedback I'm getting from participants over and over again is that was one of their favorites. It's like it really helped to open up and bring clarity.
Yeah, of course. And I can see that clearly. Where am I putting myself in my own way? I mean, it's so important to get that awareness and that blind spot of not knowing. It's brilliant. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. And then we also talk about a concept called MVP. And it's minimum viable product. It's used in agile software development, but we apply it to what is the minimum viable product that you need to create in order to get your business going. So It's all about what is the base, what does that mean? And so we really talk about that and really try to integrate that, because so many coaches think they have to do all of this work before they can start coaching. No, it's minimum viable product. And that, I get a lot of feedback about that.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that concept, Jenny. It's so lovely and refreshing and straightforward and very practical. I think that's, and a lot of the coaches don't think in those terminologies from the agile software development and what is it. And I love that you're introducing this digital terminology as well, because it's so current for us, all of
Yeah.
us. Great.
Yeah. 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 Well, and I come from a technology background. I wasn't a technologist myself, but I was technology adjacent.
Mhm.
So I learned a lot of stuff. Okay, then we go into foundations, just the foundational pieces of what, yeah, just foundational pieces, talk through it. Then in module 5, we talk about the legal docs. What kind of business structure, your licensing needs, agreements, insurance, all of those things that nobody really thinks that, like, when I first started coaching, I'm like, insurance? I need insurance? What? And so we talk about the needs and the reasons for insurance, and all of that. Then we go into financial docs and talk about setting up a bank account, invoicing, taking payments, rates, understanding that whole world. Then in module 7, we talk about administration, tracking, calendaring, booking tools, session details. And then in module 8, we talk about client management. That's another piece of this. We are a service. We have to have customer service. How do we make sure that our clients are getting what they're signing up for, and encourage? And also, most of my business now, I've been coaching for nearly a decade. Most of my private business now is referrals. And that is because I took care of my very first clients well, and they said nice things about me. And then people come in. So, we got to make sure that they're well serviced from start to finish. Then we do a light touch on marketing, which I really, it's one of my favorite units because it's a hands-on piece. I teach people how to go in and build their own logo, how to build their own website. You don't have to pay people pounds of money. We can do this ourselves. So I show them how we do that. We do a hands-on exercise. And then at the end, the last one is called Let Your Ducks Be Free. And we talk about how are you going to put all of this learning that you've got into practice, and coming up with a very a plan. And a lot of people that I've worked with aren't quite ready to build their business yet. They might still be working in corporate and they're making plans, but you have all of this material, checklists for people. There's workbooks that you get with all the information. So you can go back to it, and it's built in a way that you can follow it step by step. This is just the first introduction to how to build your business. You'll learn as you go. But yeah, that is how we nail it at the end. And then there's a LinkedIn group for all of the participants that they can share stories. It's free. It's, if you take the course, you get involved in it, and you can ask questions in the group. And you're gonna hear it here first, Zoran.
Yeah.
I am working on creating an AI bot of myself that will be in support of this entire program, that people can go in and ask specific questions of and get advice or get direction. So I'm building that right now.
As long as she's courageous, charismatic, and as beautiful as you, then it's worth it.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you very much. We'll see. I'll do my best.
But it's wonderful support, right? The integration of technology. This is what we talked about, like being able to have an AI bot to support the implementation of the program. Amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all of that, for the coaches who are listening, what happens once when they go through this entire process from your perspective, and they move through this? What is the final outcome? What do you see them doing that are not doing at this moment in time?
Yeah. What I hear over and over again is, I have confidence to go do this now. I know I can go do this now. It's not, I think I can go do this now. It's, I know I can go do this now. I'm excited. Like, I hear enthusiasm to want to go build the business. It's it's like all this is behind a black curtain, and the course rips that curtain open, and then you can see all the elements going, oh, that's not scary. That's totally doable. You can do that. And that's the whole point of this is, yes, you can. My very first coaching, we do a whole module on naming your coaching practice. When I first started, I called my coaching AIC, which is actually I can do that. And that is at the end of all of this. My deep hope and dream is that coaches feel empowered and that they can see that they can do this themselves. And it doesn't take that much. It takes a little bit of effort in the beginning, but it doesn't, it becomes its own engine. It will feed itself.
Beautiful, 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 beautiful. Thank you so much for that. I mean, the bigger service of the coaching community, it's exactly what we need nowadays. I know a lot of the coaches who are listening to this, they're thinking, oh my God, how can I do this more often, quicker? We're going to reference sort of your websites and landing pages and your social media so people can reach out to you and start, they're building their coaching business correctly. And what I love the most is that simplicity of foundational work that needs to be done, that sometimes we neglect or we forget, or we're too focused on how do we get clients. Exactly what you said at the beginning. How do we get clients is my first question. When in turn, we need to build up the foundation and clarity and understanding and confidence and mindset. And then from there on, systems and processes, and then the clients come to you. So it's a beautiful way forward, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah. And energetically, you get clients because you have all of this momentum behind you, this professionalism. And again, energetically, you're putting that out there as I'm a professional coach. I have my act together. You should work with me.
Exactly. So what is your call for action? So if you think about wonderful coaches who are listening to this, what would be a call for action for them?
My call to action for them is just get started. Just do it. And I mean, if they're interested and want to look at the course, they are more than welcome to come look at the course. There's an on-demand version, and also we're going to be doing some work together, I believe. But I really, this is so critical that we get coaching voices out there in the world. And in order for coaches to be able to do their work, they need to have sustainable businesses. So get out there, just start. You can do this all on your own. You really can.
Wonderful. Janice, thank you so much for being you. Thank you so much for bringing this into our attention. As some of you know who listen to this podcast in TNM Coaching Academy, we have masterclasses, foundational programs, and advanced programs on enrollment for 2026. Part of this New Year's curriculum is going to be Janice's course as well. So for the coaches who are thinking about enrolling with our academy, please know that in addition to what we teach you about skills, competencies, tools, models of coaching, mindset of coaching, we're also going to dedicate and devote some time in helping you create the business as well, which is then empowering you to create the change and to evolve our world. So thank you so much, Janice, for coming to this podcast, for sharing your knowledge and skill, for being the force in the world who is helping coaches in the most positive way. And for everybody else, thank you so much for tuning into this podcast. I'm super grateful and happy. I hope this was valuable, especially for you coaches, and also for people who are thinking about moving into coaching as well, because we have a lot of people who come to this podcast being aspirational. One day I will become coach, and that one day might become soon. And then you need to know how to build your business. So thank you so much once again for tuning in. And Janice, bye for now.
Goodbye.